welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. I'm a Forbes contributor covering social entrepreneurship and impact investing. And today we have two guests who are rather extraordinary gentlemen. Although they call themselves two ordinary blokes, these two rowed across the Atlantic Ocean. Not your ordinary weekend activity. We have with us today Tom Caulfield and James Whittle. Tom and James, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Now, when I first heard your story, I presumed that you were competitive rowers and that you simply decided to tackle an unusual stretch, but you're not competitive rowers. You are two ordinary blokes, as you put it. Tom, why on earth did you decide to tackle this?
It all started about 18 months ago. I was at an event watching the Clipper World Boat Race, which is a round the world yacht race that my mum actually took part in the first leg from London to Rio. And seeing all the boats come back in and all the euphoria around the cruise is one of those moments where I kind of thought I hadn't done anything even remotely as cool as this. And I certainly didn't want my mum to be braver than I was. So I had a couple of beers and I text James, and the whole idea really snowballed from there. But it was simply Googling what is the toughest thing a human can do, pretty much, and rowing the Atlantic popped up at the top of that list.
Now, had anyone ever done this before? I guess probably they had.
I mean, yeah, how many boats? 260 boats have successfully done it. I think we were the 262nd boat to ever do it. But we were one of the very few who are completely unsupported.
Wow. So, James, why did you sign up for this?
I think on what Tom mentioned, it was a couple of beers that made it sound like a great idea at the time. But even after that, it just seemed like something then that we were never not going to do. To be honest, didn't know it was a thing, didn't know it was possible at all before that. And then when we started exploring the idea and got deeper into the research, it just seemed like something we could do and something we could raise some money for charity for. And then really do like a really epic adventure. And it snowballed from there, as Tom said.
Well, I want to just show a couple of pictures from your journey, if we can make this work here. I'm going to try this. Are you seeing the boat?
Yep.
Okay. Does the boat look familiar to you?
Just about. We never really saw it from a distance, but I think that's the right boat.
We miss old Roberta.
So Tom, where was this picture taken?
So this was taken as we just came around the north point of Barbados. So this was probably about 2 p.m. on the 10th of Feb. We came around the north point, and we'd been warned that this was kind of one of the toughest parts of the trip due to the weather, and where the winds are coming from, it's kind of blowing you away from the island. So we got to this point and we had to dodge a load of reefs and breaking waves, and it took us 6 hours of probably the most strenuous rowing of the entire trip. We were averaging probably under a knot going against the currents, but having the land just there was all the motivation we needed, really.
Yeah, so you landed at Barbados then?
Yeah, correct.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now let's see if I can show another picture here. I'm going to try. See if we make this work. Are you seeing a new picture? No, you're not.
We got a glimpse of it.
We got a quick, there we go. Oh,
okay, maybe this won't work here. Okay, let me try this here. So this is a picture of you two rowing that you appear to have taken with a GoPro or something. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, we are indeed.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the experience of rowing each day. I mean, how did you do this? How did you organize your time? How did you spend your days?
So it changed a fair bit throughout the row. we had planned to do 2 hours on, 2 hours off for the entirety of the journey. But when it started, we just couldn't really see that happening. So we ended up doing 1 hour on, 1 hour off, which just wasn't sustainable. And we were both getting no sleep, and then it weren't really fit enough to row much longer. So then we went to 2 hours on, 2 hours off, and that was 24 hours a day. So we kind of sleep at the night and then just lay in the cabin, just sweating basically when we weren't rowing the rest of the time. And then where this picture is kind of more towards the back end of the journey, when we would kind of row all day together. And then when it came to the night shifts, we'd take it in turns to go to the 2 on, 2 off, just to make as much progress in a day as possible.
Well, it really seems like quite an adventure. So when you were 2 hours on, 2 hours off, was that 24 hours a day?
Yeah, it was 24 hours a day. There was always someone kind of keeping the boat moving, so to speak.
So 2 hours on, 2 hours off. One of you is rowing, one of you is resting.
Yeah, correct. And I mean, it sounds crazy now, and we look back at the first week when we sort of first went into that regime, and we definitely struggled with sleep deprivation. But it's amazing how quickly your body sort of adapts to your surroundings. And after the first week, I think we were sort of surviving on 4 hours sleep, and we were both rowing 12 hours a day each. But you just get much stronger and you understand what's going on. And after that, it was just routine, really.
Now, what did you eat and drink on this trip? I mean, you must have had, 50, 60 days worth of water and food on the boat.
Yeah, we took 70 days worth of provisions with us, and that included freeze-dried food. So that was like 5 meals a day or 4 meals a day each, and that was a mixture of oatmeal, chicken tikka, spaghetti bolognese, salmon and potato. We basically just cycled those things, and then we mixed in some peanut butter, not with the food. This is separate in our snack packs.
Yeah.
We had lots of chocolate, things like coconut oil, all that sort of stuff, just to kind of boost and get the calories up there to try and give us some energy. But we were always hungry, really, at that time.
You were burning a lot of calories. Did you lose a lot of weight on the trip, or were you able to eat enough calories to sort of stay with it?
We pretty much ate every childhood dream in terms of sweets and chocolate. So we both lost over a stone, which I guess is 13 pounds over in the US. So we lost a lot, but there's sort of tales of other teams who have done a similar sort of thing, and they've lost way, way more. So yeah, we certainly stripped down, and after the first couple of weeks, our legs were like matchsticks. We lost all the muscle, and we could barely stand up just from, well, basically living in a cell. We didn't walk for 54 days. So we certainly shed a lot of muscle, but yeah, we were eating enough. But as you say, we were constantly hungry, and food was a huge point in the day for morale, definitely.
Yeah, something we spent a lot of time speaking about.
Yeah. So you were seldom rowing together, although we see pictures of you rowing together. That was not the way you crossed the Atlantic, really.
No, it was quite solitary, wasn't it? It was. We knew it would be beforehand, and I personally remember a really distinct moment for me was the first ever night shift we did on day one, and it was pitch black. I sort of got on the oars, and it was all completely new. We had no idea what we were doing, and James sort of shut the hatch to say goodnight, and I was just suddenly alone, and that feeling of being absolutely nowhere, well, no idea where you are. You can't see anything. He's gone to bed, gone to sleep, and I'm just left there to row. And that was a moment that was pretty scary, and we were certainly scared of the dark for the first month, definitely. But yeah, it was very solitary. But then towards the end, as we got stronger and we just wanted to get there, we rowed together for up to sort of 10 hours at a time, just to churn over the miles, really.
So, how did you navigate? You're out in the middle of the ocean. I would get lost. I would probably, row in circles around Great Britain if I were you. But how did you navigate?
So we had like a GPS system on board, and we have the coordinates and different waypoints that we'd head towards, so we could always kind of see where we were going, and we do sort of the manual way as well on charts and plot our position every day. So we always knew where we were in reference, but then again, it could have been sort of lying to us and we'd have been none the wiser. It all looked the same after about 3 days. So yeah.
It's pretty simple in the essence that we left from the edge of Africa and we were going to the Caribbean. So as long as you're heading west, you're kind of going in the right direction. So yeah, as long as we knew the nose pointing towards where the sun set, then we couldn't go too far wrong.
Yeah, that's easy at sunset, and but not so easy the rest of the day. It's a remarkable challenge. Well, this must have been a hugely expensive endeavor. How did you pay for it?
Well, God, that was probably harder than the row. So we both work in marketing, and as well as obviously achieving what we wanted to achieve, to raise the money, we kind of wanted to create a real campaign around what we were doing and tell our stories. So we were hugely lucky to get the likes of Dropbox and Jaybird and Spotify and Wasserman, Vita Coco, all these really big, well-known brands to sort of put money in front of us and believe in us. But we also brought on smaller brands such as Deus and Pip and Nut, people who don't have these huge multi-million-pound budgets, but we knew would really add to our experience and would get something out of it. So we're hugely proud of all the partners we brought on board. And it's something that when we look back, it's an incredible achievement for us in terms of our professional values, and we're sort of really close to all those partners still as we move forward.
James, how did you feel when you first sighted land as you were approaching your destination after nearly 60 days at sea?
I think probably the best word to describe it is relieved. Yeah, there's a huge sense of relief, but even then we saw it as a glow at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I think. And then at about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, we got hit with sort of another weird storm that nearly made us miss Barbados north. So it was never kind of guaranteed until we were there. So yeah, but the feel was incredible when we saw Barbados. And then as it got closer and closer, yeah, it kind of began to hit home a little bit more. We had a fishing vessel with a few of our nearest and dearest and a film crew on to come and meet us and guide us in through the reefs, as Tom said. And yeah, that was just a surreal, like amazing experience.
Wow. Tom, you raised money for this for a cause. What was your cause for this?
My charity I chose was Make-A-Wish Foundation, who I'm sure you know do incredible things for children who are in the worst situation possible. And yeah, they do incredible work, and luckily we're really, really lucky to kind of live out a dream of ours that we've been working on for so long, and they're kind of making that a reality for the kids and their charity. So it seemed a natural fit for me, and yeah, we're still raising money, and our donations page is still going strong. So we're really, really excited about sort of the opportunities we can give them.
James, what about you?
Yeah, so I wanted to raise money for brain tumour research, just a bit of a smaller charity and quite local to where I'm from. But it's personal reasons. So my mum had a brain tumour in 2012 and is in remission now. But it's quite a big deal, obviously. So yeah, just wanted to raise some money, some funds for those guys, and hopefully raise awareness as well to get others to raise some money to fund the sort of research, the extensive research that obviously goes into sort of brain surgery.
So, how's your mom doing today?
Yeah, she's good. She's good. She's back running and back working. So yeah, she's made a great recovery, which is amazing to see.
No, that is
very
glad to hear that.
And, it made it more special to be able to raise some money for those guys.
Now, well, you guys have become icons, role models to a lot of people. Tom, who do you look up to? Who inspires you?
We were speaking about this before because a few people have asked us the same question. And I mean, for me personally, over the last sort of 2 years, this whole adventure has been sort of what our lives have sort of rotated around. And beforehand, I love sport and I love people within sport and always have sort of always have since I was young. But there was a few weeks ago an adventurer called Henry Worsley, who is a really, really famous British adventurer. I read an article about him that kind of sort of struck home, and he was traveling down to the South Pole, following in the footsteps of one of his great sort of Arctic heroes. And he was about 30 miles from the point of completing it. And he suddenly realized he couldn't go any further. His body he was done. And there was this amazing article where they quoted his message back to his family. And it basically just said in complete simple terms, and had a real dignity about it, that this is what I love doing. This is me, I'm done, and I've accepted that. And I kind of read it, and we had our scary moments and things on the boat, and we made a lot of noise about it, and we'd scream like girls about it, and just thinking that he's there on his own, and he sat down and he's just got pure clarity, and he has that sort of will to be like, okay, I've given it a go, but this is my time. And yeah, that's kind of stuck with me. So I feel pretty inspired by someone like that, and to go on and do more stuff for sure.
James, what about you? Who do you look up to?
So I definitely look up to a few people, but someone who stood out recently to me, I've kind of been similar. I was almost less so in the duration sense, but we were planning everything. It kind of took over our lives for sort of 18 months, 2 years, and it's obviously still a massive part of it. But as a climber, kind of one of the world's best climbers, a guy called Tommy Caldwell, who you might have seen in the news recently, or in January, but climbed the Dawn Wall, which is a face in Yosemite, which I think was like a 7-year project for him. So I just kind of understood how that kind of must take over his life, and what he thinks about all the time. If it was anything like it did for ours, then I got respect for that, and him completing it as well, and being the first to do so with his climbing partner. It's just something that I really respected and admired. Something that we hopefully replicated, that we did it, and then want to keep replicating as well.
That's great. Yeah. One last question before you go, gentlemen. I want to ask each of you for an impact hack. Everyone who watches the show has one thing in common, and that is a desire to do more good in the world. What do you suggest? What's something perhaps that you've developed as a habit, or an experience that convinces you we can do more good by doing this thing? What's your impact hack, Tom?
Mine is actually something that I picked up on the boat. That those moments, especially at night, where the stars would be incredible, you'd see comets, and I'd drop the oars and take my music out, and kind of really force myself to actually think about where I was and how lucky I was to do it, and just how incredible an experience it was. And life can be full of those things, and I think a lot of people have the dreams, but don't really go over that first hurdle if anything gets in their way. And since being back, we've sort of joined the rat race again, and on the underground and in the busy streets of London, and I'm kind of forcing myself to, if I'm on a tube and it's packed and it's delayed, sort of step back and not get worried about stupid menial stuff like that, and just sort of think about the bigger picture and how lucky a lot of us are to have the things we have and the opportunities we have. So that's something I've really taken from the whole adventure, and something I kind of want to keep going in the future, really.
Fantastic. And James, what's your impact hack?
So I'm just going to change it now, but I think probably, it's a good question. I reckon it's just spend less time making decisions. I know lots of people, and I definitely used to be one as well, that would just kind of spend lots of time worrying and thinking about like the smallest decisions that don't make an impact at all, and don't really matter. So along the same lines, it's kind of make a decision either way, because the lack of a decision is also a decision, just a bad one. But it actually frees up your time to kind of see what's more important, and it's kind of then make better decisions, I think. So that might have been worded badly, but yeah, don't waste time on kind of small decisions.
Yeah, I hear you say don't overthink it.
Exactly.
All righty. Well, those are great tips. And gentlemen, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Before you go, tell us how people can learn more about what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be doing more adventures in the future, hopefully for great causes. And our social is at the Tempest Two. Website is thetempest2.com. And yeah, we're going to be heading over to Sweden in June. And we'll be doing many more things in the future. So yeah, feel free to follow us, and hopefully we won't be too boring.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both for joining me, and we wish you every success in your effort to raise money for good causes.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
Cheers, Devin.
All righty, let's do some good.